The Toronto Raptors are trying to change the game of basketball, and it's for the better, and I like it. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Emmanuel Camia, and here I make basketball content on the regular. I make basketball content on NBA takes, whatever is going on in the league, NBA news, whatever I think, opinion. And if you like that kind of content, make sure to hit the subscribe button, leave a like, leave your thoughts in the comments below, and let's jump into the video. As you all know, the game of basketball is an ever-changing game, like any other game. The game has progressed so much ever since its conception in 1891, from the way the players look, the way the players dribble, and even what the players wear. If you go back and watch old footage, old black and white footage from the 1950s and 1940s, and you compare it to now, the game looks so much different. It's like they're two completely separate games. To me, it's almost as if comparing football and rugby together. They look alike, but they're so different. And that's what I think the NBA today and back then has looked like. And the way this came to be has been, over time, incremental small changes have happened to the game. You know, the way the players shoot, they used to shoot like this. Now they're shooting like this. They add a three-point line. It just, so much has been put into the game of basketball and it's progressed that you kind of have to sit back, step back a bit and appreciate the beauty of it. And these small changes over time, even though at the time they were introduced, over time they accumulate, they compound, and the game becomes completely something different. Even in recent years, we've seen the game speed up a little bit with the play of the Golden State Warriors. They ushered in that fast-paced offense, high volume shots, high volume three-point shots. When you look at the game today in 2021 and you look at the game in 2011, just not even in 2013, completely separate game. 2016 NBA to 2013 NBA, that's completely different. And that just goes to show you the game is changing so rapidly, so fast, and it's small changes, but they accumulate, Nowadays, if you were to watch an NBA broadcast, you would think that basketball has no positions. It's so positionless nowadays. Like I said again, Stephen Curry and the Golden State Warriors kind of eliminated the traditional big men in the league to what it is today. Big men today are now required to shoot threes, Anthony Davis, Joel Embiid, and that was because of a change that the Golden State Warriors did, mainly because they had the personnel to do it, where they would just shoot a high volume of shots, and you had to have people who were quick enough to try and guard those shots. And if bigs weren't able to at least guard, they needed to at least be able to shoot as well to, counterbalance that. And that's just, again, the dynamic of the changing of the game. And I'm a student of the game. I learn and I love it. I'm a student of basketball. And now, apparently, one of the changes that's coming to the game is going to apparently be a little bit faster. And this is because news is coming out that the Toronto Raptors are trying a new method to try and maximize the amount of points they can get per game. And they're trying to do this by implementing a different type of play. What they're trying to do is they're trying to completely change the start of an offensive possession. So as you all know, the majority of offensive possessions start when a big man either grabs a rebound or steps out of bounds, passes the ball to the guard, right? But mainly grabs a rebound, turns around, finds a guard, gets the ball to the guard, then the guard goes up and tries to set the table, tries to set the offense up. They try to set up a half-court offense. But what the Raptors have realized is those first few seconds in which the big man or forward grabs the rebound and trying to find a guard, in those seconds is when the defensive team is in chaos and in disarray, trying to find their guy at the same time backpedaling and running back. So it's like, it's just chaotic, right? And so what the Toronto Raptors are trying to do is they're trying to capitalize on that chaos, that few 10 seconds where players don't know where their players are and they're trying to get back on defense. What they're trying to do is they're just saying, why don't we just cut out the middleman? The big man should just grab the rebound, right? And instead of passing to the guard, just go down the court, right? And disrupt. They're disrupting the defense and putting them on their toes. And it's making it harder for defenses because now not only do they have to try and find their guys while they're backpedaling and watching the ball, they're also watching the ball and watching that big man sprint down the court. And it just disrupts and it makes it harder for them to guard. And what the Raptors are trying to do is they're trying to speed that up and trying to maximize the amount of points they can get off of that. And you know what? I really appreciate that. And the reason I appreciate that is the Toronto Raptors are going back to the board and they're trying to use everything in their power outside of money to try and maximize their play. Especially, you know, for a team, they just lost one of their best players in Kyle Lowry. They are a younger team and they have fell off greatly from where they were 2 years ago. And so Nick Nurse is a very smart coach, and I really appreciate that he would go back to the drawing board and he'd say, what can we do to try and maximize, to try and compete with these teams in the East, right? We lost our best player. We have juggernauts like the 76ers. We have the Brooklyn Nets in our conference. We have so many of these great talent in our conference. What can we do that can separate ourselves, that can change the game and benefit us? And I love that about the Toronto Raptors, right? Because they're contributing to the game of basketball. You know, Toronto being a Canadian city, Toronto, you know, they're not taken as seriously in the States as in Canada. And I should know because I'm from Canada, but like, I love that, you know what I mean? Like adding more to the story of basketball. I love that about Toronto. I love that about the Raptors doing that. And I applaud them for that. And I hope it works in their favor because this is amazing. This is again, further proof of the ever-changing ways of basketball. It never stays the same. I can tell you right now, basketball is probably going to look different like 3 years from now on. Like 5 years from now on. I can't even imagine what the game is going to look like 10 years from now on. And that's kind of like with every sport, because this kind of change is coming from an analytical standpoint, right? They're looking at analytics and they're saying, what can we do to maximize? You see a lot of this in baseball. Baseball uses a lot of analytics to try and help a team. You don't really see it in basketball, but again, like I'm saying, basketball is taking things from other, you know, sports, technology. They're using it more. Nowadays, you can come off of a court, sit on a bench, grab an iPad, and exactly know where you're the most efficient live, like during a game. And you see this not only in basketball, you see it in football. You see a guy on a bench studying himself in live game, something like, you know, you couldn't do like 10 years ago. Like that wasn't a thing. Because even though the iPad existed, apps didn't exist for that, right? But now apps exist and it's just again and again, like these technological, not only from the basketball standpoint, but also from like technology standpoint, melding together and becoming better and better. I love it. I'm just a big fan of it. And I applaud the Toronto Raptors for trying to do something different. I use whatever is in your bag. And I applaud Nick Nurse for trying to do that and trying to accommodate for his team, especially after losing his general on the floor, Kyle Lowry. But yeah, those are just my thoughts on the way, you know, game is changing. I'm a student of the game. I watch the game and I can't wait to see where it goes. But aside from that, if you like this video, thanks for watching. Leave a like and subscribe. And until next time, kids.